In this clip with Jeff Skunk Baxter, we talk about what I think is the glue in the Doobie Brothers. The man that's been there all along. They switched main lead singers, Tom Johnston to Michael McDonald. But who's always been there? Who's been the guy who just kept everything together? Guitarist and singer Patrick Simmons. We talk about the Doobies and how they made it work all these years. And of course, Patrick Simmons on Rock History Music.
Don't stop to watch the wheels. Was that you in the beginning? Who did that guitar?
God, I think that was Patrick. It was acoustic?
No, it's good. I thought it might be you because he sings right away, and as he's singing, that's happening while he's singing. Still, that riff. I mean, I know that's a studio thing, but I thought, what if you guys would have done it in concert? So I kept thinking it must have been you because he sings the song and that riff's still happening. That. So, and you co-wrote that. Yeah, I know, a long time ago.
Yeah. Boy.
But
Too many sessions.
Sorry to interrupt you. Wouldn't you think of stuff like that? Wouldn't you, when you're putting stuff down, you're going, well, Pat, you'd have to do it because I start singing here, and I'm sure he could do all he's saying, but it's difficult for a singer. I mean, they still do it.
Well, Pat is a very talented musician, and I'm amazed sometimes at watching how well musicians are at multitasking, and that's because of the way they think is in a non-linear, vertical, multi-layer template. So it's possible.
Have you worked with Rick Emmett?
No, but I have a lot of respect for him.
Because he's the first guy who told me, because, not being a guitarist and being a bad drummer, he's the first guy who told me, he says, don't you think that if I'm singing and I'm picking, that I got to go home and practice that over and over and over again so I can do it in front of a studio audience. But yeah,
maybe not. I remember there's a band that I play with called American Vinyl. It's kind of corporate, all the hits all the time. Me and Barry Goudreau from Boston and Mousy Thompson from James Brown and Leroy Romans from the Wailers. I mean, all we do is the hits. And we were doing a show, and my grandson at the time, he was about 12, and he walked out on stage. He had a question for me. So, okay. So I'm playing a solo, but I'm talking to my grandson because he wants to talk about some schoolwork. All right, fine.
Multitask.
Absolutely.
Patrick and Tom from the Doobie Brothers. To me, Patrick was the glue, but I don't know. I always said, well, Pat, when Tom left and Michael came in, like I said a while ago, I always had Patrick, and I liked his songs an awful lot. I really had a great appreciation of him. But are those guys? Why do you think those guys can still do it after all these years together? Because they've turned into, they've gone back to the old one. Mind you, Michael's with them for the tour. But what do you think that makes that relationship work so much?
Well, I think Pat and Tom were friends, are friends. That's very helpful. There are a number of bands, which I will not name, where when they go on tour, everybody stays in separate hotels. They show up in different cars. They show up for the gig and then go back. I mean, okay, I suppose that's a dynamic, but it doesn't work for me. And I don't think it works for Pat and Tom. I think that they're friends. And I also think that they have a bond for all the years that they spent together. And even when Tommy had to bow out for a while, I don't think that changed their friendship. And I don't think that changed the musical structure and the musical interest and desire and vision that they had when they originally started. I mean, not to say that they weren't learning and everybody's growing. I'm not saying that, but I think there was something basic there. There is something basic there.
Yeah. By 76, when Michael McDonald came in, I mean, from the inside, because you'd played with him for a while then, even as a guest, and then Stampede, you were a full-time member. But by the time Taking It to the Streets came out. From the inside, what were you seeing for reaction? Because I liked Michael McDonald. I had no problem. I'm one of those guys of going, yeah, what happens if you press this? What happens if you go through that door? They went through another door, and Patrick Simmons was still there, and a few of the other guys, of course. What was your reaction to a new lead singer?
Well, my reaction in the beginning was, I think I made the right decision by bringing him in the band. It was a crapshoot like everything else. You got to make a command decision every once in a while, and the situation was such that somebody had to do something.
What was it? But I didn't phrase it right. What was the reaction of the other guys? Sorry, with your suggestion.
Well, there was really a very little time. It was like when you jump out of an airplane and you say, what's your reaction when your chute opens? You go, this is good. You really don't have much time to think about it. And the ground's coming up pretty quick. The reaction was good because it was very quick. I mean, I literally sent Michael a plane ticket to New Orleans to come and rehearse, because we were going to do a show that we had canceled in 10 days from when I called Michael. And so when he showed up and played with the band, everybody really enjoyed it. I mean, he's a great musician. They loved his voice. He was and still is really easygoing. So there was no tension, friction, conflict. It went amazingly well. We went out to play that show after we rehearsed for like 8 days, and we got 5 encores. So something must have worked.
There's information on Jeff Skunk Baxter's brand new album, his first solo album of all time. Sure took him a lot of years. He's thinking of doing another one now, by the way, right in the description of this video. Remember, if you want to make a donation to the channel, there are links at the very top to PayPal. You can join our Patreon, get early access to all our videos from all of our channels. But really, like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share them on social media, and comment on them. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take good care of yourself.